Hello and welcome to another episode of VG Club. I'm your host, Daxter23Jack, aka Viv, and today I am joined by Ben, aka BJK394,
Hello.
Javi, aka Obviously,
Yo yo.
and Chris, aka Koreanite.
Hey,
And I know this is a weird aside, Javi. What was your username back on the IGN blogs?
It was it was probably Juvie008 OK. It's like that was like
Ah,
my first handle when like the internet was brand new and I was like, creating your Yahoo account, and all that stuff. And there's a wrestler called Juventud Guerrero, and like his whole thing was his nickname, I guess, was like Hoovy Juice or whatever. So and I'm like, oh, that sounds like Javi, and people used to call me, or like my friends at the time were like, oh, they'd call me Hoovy Juice or whatever. So yeah, and also like it says Hoovy008 OK, and so the 008 was James Bond 007, but I'm the next one, 008. And then the OK was because I had an account that was just Juvie008, and I forgot the password, so I had to make a new one with OK at the end. There you go. Origin
yeah,
story.
I mean, I came up with Daxter23Jack because I was trying to write a review for IGN Game Scoop back in the day, and I was trying to think of a username, and I was just like, it works.
Yeah.
I feel like yours is a bit more inspired, but
I
anywho,
don't know. It's a mess.
tangent aside, today we are here to talk about The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, which that originally released back in 2011, I want to say.
I'm going to say yes. I don't.
Sounds right.
Don't make me look
2011.
things up.
It is
Yeah.
2011.
Yeah, and I mean, after 2006 was Twilight Princess, and I feel like after that, a lot of people, it felt like the decision to port it to Wii was kind of a last minute thing because I remember back in the day, there was minute changes between, being able to aim at the screen with Wii remote and, swinging, just waggling the Wiimote in order to like swing your sword. But people, I don't. It felt like for ages people were talking about like the mythical Zelda that would control that would control, entirely with motion controls. So I felt like there was a lot of talk about Skyward Sword for the longest time, and when it came out, I just never jumped on it. And
Was this the game that when they debuted it, Miyamoto came out and his Wiimote just didn't work?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. It just like the live demo just totally failed at
It's such a
E3.
nightmare
I remember
scenario.
that.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's so embarrassing.
Well,
Oh,
I mean, like you've got like I imagine like in addition to like, games being complicated, filled with bugs, you've got like a sensor bar, but then you've got the audience, you've got cameras, phones, all
Mhm.
that stuff. So I imagine that might interfere with the signal as
Oh,
well.
100%. Like it definitely wasn't on them. Like surely they did I mean, I think they mentioned that they did a rehearsal and it went flawlessly. It's just like the amount of cell phones in the room must have messed with the Wiimote, but yeah, what a thing to like break when you're debuting it to the world. It's like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, which I think is the reason why they prefer doing the Nintendo Direct, which is all kind
Sure.
of like pre-recorded stuff now. They don't have to worry about that as much.
Yeah. Well, luckily the
But
game was so good it didn't matter, right?
yeah,
Mm. Hmm.
and I mean,
I was
I
gonna say
ultimately
I was gonna say that Miyamoto getting up there and it failing on him is kind of how I felt playing it anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah, Skyward Sword, getting around to the game almost like 15 years later, it
yeah,
definitely has issues, but I was able to enjoy my experience ultimately. But I think during the entire time, part of me like I kept having to remind myself that, I think part of me wanted it to be kind of like a sky centered like Wind Waker, and then I just kind of had to come to terms with like over my playthrough that this isn't Wind Waker, and that's okay? Question mark.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. It's not
You
worth
asking?
that's okay.
It's not okay.
I'm
Get that
asking
back.
myself. No. But yeah, no, before we kind of get into things proper, and I'm throwing the hot potato at you, Ben. So if you don't, if it's too hot, you can toss it to somebody else. But did you want to go ahead and describe the story for us?
Uh, sure. As someone who didn't actually finish the game, only got halfway through. I guess the story is Link and Zelda are like in Knights or in the Knight Academy in Skyloft, which is a town that floats way above the sky. And I guess no one knows that there's like land beneath the clouds. Um, until Link finds a magic talking sword that shows him the way down to the surface. Or was it Zelda gets kidnapped and he has to go down to the surface to find her, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's
And
Yeah,
Zelda
there's a
gets kidnapped.
tornado.
Yep.
yes, I remember that now. Um, yeah, ancient talking sword that is kind of part robot, I guess. Who
Yeah, that
guides
was.
Link down to the surface.
Yeah, and then Link, like regular games, goes to several different dungeons to kind of progress the story. You find out Zelda is the incarnation of the goddess who, after sealing away, God, I forget the Dark One. Oh, what's the name of the evil Chaos King that eventually becomes Ganondorf?
Demise.
Demise. Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically, she, unlike past Zeldas, I feel like she has a bit more agency in this game. I feel like Impa is still helping them along, but at the same time, they're not waiting to be rescued by Link the entire game. So that was a refreshing change of pace, but I wasn't the biggest fan of kind of Link's kind of side companion in this game. It's just like going up until I want to say Breath of the Wild, Link always had like a side canyon, be it Navi, Tattle, uh, King of Redlands, and Midna, and I just feel like out of all of those, she's just. I think she's supposed to kind of look like a mechanical like ballerina, like like when you open like a music box sort of thing.
You could argue she was your companion in all those other games too. Because the
So
Master Sword is always there. She's been there through time. That part I think is real. I know that it like leaves the player to like make that, I don't know, to like make that as special as you want it to, right? Like the games don't do that. Like that's a retroactively they're saying, "Oh, she was there the whole time in your sword." I like that twist though. I think that's very neat.
yeah, but I just felt like she didn't have too many like character moments like towards
For sure.
the end. And Ben, I take it you don't mind spoilers at all.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, she kind of displays some emotions. Like, I enjoyed our journey and I'll miss you. And just be like, this is illogical, blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
it's like one of these things where like in many ways, Grisham, or how do you pronounce his name?
Correct.
Girahim.
Yeah.
Or yeah,
Yeah.
I say Girahim. Yeah.
Yep.
Girahim?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no S.
Girahim.
Oh, is it not?
He's
Okay.
There's yeah, that's Girahim.
Gotcha.
okay.
Girahim.
Well, he's allowed to be like a total freak, and he's basically like Fee's direct counterpoint alter ego, because he's like Demise's sword, made manifest. He actually gets to have a personality, whereas Fee kind of just is like a servant the entire game, mute, monotone, and I felt like she never really added much. The one thing I will say about her is like kind of they are able to kind of use her to like implement like, oh, you can bring her up for like help and be like, hey, can I have a hint about this room or what was I doing? That sort of thing. So, I mean, like user interface wise, she's good, but I don't know if I want like Siri as my companion.
AI companion. I mean, it is funny though that like in the context of where we're at right now with regards to AI and stuff, it does recolor characters like that. I use characters in quotes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't really like feel compelled to like, I don't know, give this robot the benefit of the doubt that I don't know. It's just it makes it a little bit less appealing than it might have been, in the past.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I was trying to like when I was writing up my notes on this game, so I didn't figure out. I was trying to think of examples of like more well-developed, like organic life forms, machines, robots, and games, and I was
Yeah.
just like, well, I mean, like Legion, Edie from Mass Effect. I feel like they're able to kind of they're more well-developed. You've got Robo from Chrono Trigger, Clank,
Astrobot.
Doctor Nefarious, kind of, and like HK 47 from the Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
And I feel like those, they're able to be inorganic, but they're also able to have like a, no pun intended, fleshed out character. And I
Sure.
just felt like Fee never got that. It's one of these things where it's a Zelda game. Most people aren't here for the story. It's just after getting Midna last game like for Twilight Princess, it's just kind of hard to live up to that.
I mean, that's the I apply that like sentiment to the entirety of Skyward Sword, where it's like, who made this? How is this the core Zelda team? Like, they just forgot everything that made Zelda great. It's just worse across the board, and it's weird. I think
Yeah, and I mean,
the dungeons can shine. Some of the dungeon design is incredible. It's just I don't know, man.
I think that, and we'll get into this when we talk about the controls, but I think that's the
Yeah.
limiting factor here is like they had to limit a whole bunch because of how you had to control the game and what they wanted to do with it because they wanted it to be motion controlled. So it's just going to be lesser in regards to how the other games were.
It's so obvious that like that was their mandate, is
Yeah.
that like we want to just lean in as hard as we can to motion controls and see if we can like, I don't know, I guess prove out that this kind of input is valuable and worthwhile. And the fact that they never went back in any way, shape, or form in all these games since, like, to me, just illustrates no, actually, that was a mistake. Like, regular controls are better. We're not
Like,
doing this.
neat idea, but it just doesn't
Yeah,
work.
they
it
did their
definitely
best.
does feel tech demo-ish kind of in a way, as opposed to kind of the game being made for like, I guess, more intrinsic reasons. It felt like, okay, we need to push the limits of this hardware. Like I said, there was like this mythical, like motion controlled Zelda that I felt like they were always kind of striving to achieve, and
You know,
they never got quite there because I mean, we can be fun, but like you said,
the tech isn't
it's
there.
just more fun playing with a controller.
Here's the thing, though, because I've had a good stint where I was like very into VR, and to this day, I'm still like subscribed to a lot of YouTube channels that are all VR, and every couple weeks there's a new classic game that has been retrofit by the fans to work fully in VR, right? And honestly, Skyward Sword might go really hard in VR. Like you're looking through Link's eyes and the sword is actually one to one your hand and stuff, and not just like this third person awkward approximation of your motion controls. I think that might work really well. I don't know. Like, and that might be a good thing for somebody to focus on porting properly. Because that might like actually prove out the vision of what they were trying to do here. And I think a lot of the things that were supposed to be super interesting but ended up being frustrating, or not interesting. Might totally work if you're actually like if the motion tracking is 1-to-1, where you're actually making the door dizzy with your hand, and the sword fights and all that stuff. Like, don't feel like, because the problem is more often than not, you're trying to do a motion to swing left to right, but it's not quite catching up with you. You have to like put your hand out so that the game is like, okay, our hand is here. Now do your clean swipe. And it's just awkward. There's like an extra beat that like breaks the illusion and makes it really frustrating. Like a perfect
Yeah.
example is those freaking I forget what they're called, like the plants that can split their mouth up and down or left and right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The
Oh, yeah.
And
flytrap
it's like
thing.
lining up your slash to be as perfect as the game requires to like actually hit them is so clumsy, and it doesn't feel good ever.
No, I would
Mhm.
bonk like the side of their mouth, being like, "Shit, I did it the wrong way," and
Yeah,
then they would
or
Yeah.
change their mouth formation. So it's like,
yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
Yeah,
Or they'll be like,
I
"Oh,
did
you
that
had a
more
slight
than a couple
angle
of
to your
times.
slash. It didn't count." And it's like, fuck. Okay.
I think for me, the move, like it seems like we're moving on to controls. I think the kind of like motion control movement that got me the most was the thrust. It was a thing where like I would try like thrusting, but it would never quite register,
Yep.
and I'd have to do the motion like a couple of times before it would, which was kind of annoying in one of the final boss fights against Grisham, because when you're fighting him, you have to do a thrust move, and it would be a thing where like I would try doing a thrust, and it would be another movement, and then he would be like, "Okay, I'm no longer vulnerable. Let's get back to the let's get back to it." So I kept failing over and over to the point where like I had to turn off motion controls in order to complete that boss fight.
And I played on the Switch too. So it's
Yeah,
just
same.
the Switch version. But yeah, like the thrust I could never get proper. And like early on, there's these spiders that are like attached to like a web, and you whack them and they spin around, and you have to hit them in the center. And it's like I feel like an idiot trying to like I've
Oh
been
yeah,
playing games for 40 some years and I can't hit this purple thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. hmm Yeah. I
yeah.
mean,
I
I feel
felt
like
like
that's kind of. I mean, I feel like that's
go ahead.
kind of like the Wii controls in general. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine about like Wii bowling and like other Wii sports stuff, and like those games were fun, but also you eventually you realize like you can kind of just like flip your wrist and do it the right way, and it'll still bowl exactly the same every single time. It's like it was never doing, the one-to-one motion. It was always doing, the weird specific motion that move requires, and like figuring that out. And that was always like kind of the issue with like a lot of the Wii's motion controls in general.
Yeah, and outside of the sword play, I think the motion control bit that got to me the most, because I played with motion controls because I wanted to be able to use the second analog stick for camera control. So I
And
would
then you have to
only
hold down the
occasionally
bumper. You have to hold down the bumper to move the camera. It's
Yeah.
fucking nuts. It's nuts. It sucks.
yeah. But I think the motion control part that got to me the most was like kind of when you were on your loft wing or doing skydiving. Skydiving especially was so frustrating for me, because like every time you pressed up, Link would go into like a free dive mode, and sometimes I'd be like, no, I just want to inch up so I can reach, like uh there's oh god, what is it? There's a request that requires you to get to like a bird's nest, and you can do it. You can do it by getting to the highest point in Sky Loft and diving, but it requires you to like incrementally like inch your way over with the regular controls, not to mention kind of like motion controls, which made it so frustrating. I must have failed that several times before I finally got it. You can do like a workaround like Beetle's house by like waiting until it's over the nest and like hitting Beetle's house and climbing up from there. But ugh, I hated that. I felt so stupid.
Yeah.
And I was just
It-
like, why couldn't they assign like the free dive to like L3 or R3, just something else other than up?
They just needlessly added friction to the gameplay across the entire game. Like, even if you get used to it and it's like, okay, I get it, there's always just at least a tiny layer of like accounting for bullshit that you don't have to in other games.
And I guess Ben, you were saying you got halfway through the game. Are Javi and me the only ones who completed it?
Oh, I
I
didn't
didn't.
complete it.
I didn't finish.
Okay, yeah, I think I gathered that, but Javi, you didn't finish either.
No, I was saying before you joined the call that I got further than I'd ever had, so there's that. But then simultaneously while I was playing this, it just so happens that a streamer that I watch started playing, so I did watch him complete it. So
Okay.
I did see the whole game. I just didn't play it all myself.
No, fair enough. Okay, I guess I'm the only one that completed it, but like, this was probably the longest game we've probably played on VG for VG Club. I forgot what the hour count was. I was at ultimately. I think it was like 30 something hours for me. But what caused you to stop playing? Did you just gradually lose interest? Did you get frustrated? Both you and Chris, I suppose, and
Lost
Hobby.
interest. Lost interest.
So I started playing. I was like, yeah, I'm into it. 'Cause, like, I was kind of excited to go back to it. I hadn't played it since it came out on the Wii, and I didn't make it. I think I made it down onto the ground the first time I played. So I didn't even do the first temple the first time. And I made it farther this time. Made it to the second area. I made it through the
Woo!
first temple. But then I started playing Adventures of Elliot, which is Zelda, but it's 2D
Mhm.
Zelda. And I've recently I started playing it again to kind of like catch up so we could record this week. But yeah, I'm like I don't enjoy it, so like it's like I'm
Yeah,
kind of forcing myself to play it.
yeah, it was always the controls for me. Like I got to, I think I did 3 dungeons. I want to say the fire temple was the last one I did. Um, and even that one where you have to like you balance on the big ball as you're like rolling through the temple, and like there's some motion controls with that because you have to like keep Link balance on the ball.
Mhm.
Even that was just more of a chore than like a fun, cool puzzle to solve. And
Is
yeah,
that
I just
control like the worst part of Mario Galaxy, where like the Wiimote is like a joystick and you kind of tilt it in the direction you want to go?
Oh yeah, it was
yeah,
like it would take place on that like mini golf course. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then you get
Yeah.
to the hole in one, or not the hole at the end. It would break open the ball, and you'd get the
And
power star.
the music speed is tied to the ball speed, so it's like doodle-doodle-doo, remember that?
Yeah, there was actually a lot about. I was playing through Skyward Sword, and the Loftwing component reminded me of one of the motion
Yeah,
control parts in Galaxy as well.
the
But
manta
and
ray.
yeah, I don't know if it's well, Manta Ray, but there was also that flight. There was also that flight mini game, if you remember.
Okay. I don't, but I could see it.
Yeah, I felt like honestly, it might just be nostalgia, but part of me is just like, back in 2007, I felt like this controlled better in Super Mario Galaxy than it did in Skyward Sword, because it took me a while to get used to like Loftwing controls. Like for that opening like scenario, they have you for like you get your Loftwing after you free it from Groos's trap, and then or I don't know if it even was a trap.
He
But
was trying to hide your bird so you couldn't take the test.
Yeah, real
yeah,
scumbag.
but regardless, like,
Mhm.
like for the test, like there was like a medallion or something that you had to get from like a little tiny bird, and like I kept doing that part with motion controls, and I was just like, screw this, I'm just gonna do it with analog controls, and I was able to do it so much better. But even after that point, like when I was playing more with motion controls, I was never able to get those crows that had the rubies, like in the sky.
Mm,
I don't know
yeah.
if you know what I'm talking about, but it never felt right to me. And but I think that
So
seems like a general through point for the rest of y'all too. Like it never quite got there. There was always something kind of preventing you from getting kind of like enmeshed with the controls.
yeah,
Yeah, controls never really felt good. They were always more of a thing you had to fight through to actually play the game itself.
which I'm 100% in agreement with you, Ben, and it's a shame because you get to the temples and they're cool. Like there's some neat puzzles in there. It's like this would be really, really awesome if I wasn't fighting the game to advance through it. Because some of they're really fun Zelda puzzles.
Yeah. No, the
Yeah.
dungeon design's pretty good for the most part. I know there's like in the lava temple you were talking about Ben, you really do have to roll on that ball for like a quick moment, but I really like the rest of that temple.
Yeah, and then there's the one where you get like that weird like vacuum tool. You have to like suck up the sand and basically like clean up the temple. Like that was clever. Like it's a clever, it's a clever Zelda item and thing you use in that temple.
I compulsively, maybe not every room, but I think I cleaned a lot more than I had to with that because I was just searching for like hidden stuff all over, and then I was just like, well, I did most of the room. I might as well do the rest of the room, and I did that several times.
Imagine if those super cool dungeons instead were just put into Breath of the Wild. Now we're talking.
Yeah, honestly, I think the best of both worlds, just like in the immortal words of Hannah Montana.
So true.
But yeah, like I think I would like these temples and puzzles put in there, and also my problem with Breath of the Wild is it's just so open
Yeah.
that it's too open for me, and like Skyward Sword is pretty directed. So like if it could give me that in Breath of the Wild, it would be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really swung from one extreme to the other between these games.
Yeah, but I felt like they hit a lot more with Breath of the Wild. And I mean, like, it was one of those things where, like, I skipped Skyward Sword. I think I was like Chris. I played, got a touchdown on the Earth, and then I quit playing when I originally played it on the Wii. So I got much, much farther than I did several years ago. But yeah,
Yeah.
another motion control thing while we're still on the topic that got me, the freaking bug net. Eventually got it, but I always felt like an idiot
Ugh.
using it.
Oh, just like waving the net around, trying to catch a bug.
Yeah, it
Yep.
sucks.
The whip. I also sometimes had problems with the whip, but I guess that was more like a flick of a wrist thing, so it wasn't as bad. But I just had trouble making it do what I wanted to do. Did any of y'all get to the whip part of the game?
I
No, I
didn't.
don't think so.
I saw the whip part of the game. I mean, I will say whenever there's like a chasm, or especially like later in the game when there's like sections that are like you're racing against a clock, like you got to be fast and like there'll be a chasm, you got to pull out the whip, you got to hit the thing and Indiana Jones your way across it. Like that stuff's cool. Like I think that's really neat.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it is. It's just sometimes like I would be trying to get to a point on like another side of the room, like I don't know, like there would be bars in the way, and I'd just be like, "How can I not reach it?" And then sometimes I'd be like, "Oh, it wants me to pickpocket." Okay,
mhm.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. While we're on the subject, the dungeons are actually really inspired. Like, what was it? There's like a lily pad kind of waterish dungeon that's halfway through the game, and like underneath that, you've kind of got this like river, pool of like poison. And like there's a part where like you're climbing up a rope and then all these skeletas are like climbing up the rope after you and like trying to grab your leg and drag you down with them. It was actually like really inspired. I was like, holy shit, that it was actually a pretty tense sequence. So there's like some good there's some good points in this. And like I don't know, I liked all the I don't know how many of you did the side quests, but like the ones on the pumpkin inn aisle.
I did one.
I think I did some of those.
Wait, is that where you like rolled
The
into that dude's chandelier and he's mad at you? You gotta
Yeah,
deliver his
and then you kind of
poop.
work for him. Some of
I did
it's
the
like, oh,
first
I need
one.
you to run this to somebody while it's still warm. You got 5 minutes. Others, it's just like, hey, I need you to carry like a mountain full of these pumpkins without dropping them. That sort of stuff. I had fun with that.
Yeah, I did do the ghost hand bathroom one where there's a ghost in the bathroom that needs paper. I did that side quest.
How did you resolve that?
I think because he wants paper, and then there's a character that has a love letter that wants you to give to another classmate, and I think I did choose to give the love letter to the ghost in the bathroom who wants paper.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a good idea for a quest. I was just frustrated because what is it? I think Javi, you would probably know this, the concept ludonarrative dissonance.
The classic Uncharted argument.
Yeah, kind of like, something in the gameplay kind of undersells or invalidates like a story thing. And it was like one of these things where it's just like, Bruce is down below and he's kind of gotten used to like living down on the surface. He's not coming back to his room, and he has like a picture of a crudely drawn picture of me on his punching bag. I could give that picture to the ghost while also giving the love letter to its intended recipient. Or no, you can't do that. It was
Yeah.
just stuff like it was stuff like that with that quest where I was just like, I know it's trying to be funny, and like I think if you went your route, the ghost kind of becomes starts to crush on Bruce's shorter friend.
Yeah, I think the ghost falls in love with the person who wrote the love letter.
While we're on the subject, shout out to Groose. That's maybe the best part of the game.
There some of the like other classmates in they're well written for sure.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of like some of the mini games? Because like there's what is it? There's the bamboo one. Did you guys play around with that at all?
I think I did once. Yeah, it's like cutting the bamboo with the sword.
Yeah, it gets easier as you go along the game because your sword gets longer after each dungeon you complete.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because of that, the game gets easier. But I was never able to like what was it? Like there's a what do you call those stones from like Ocarina? Like the royal stones where you would put on the Mask of Truth. You know
You're
what I'm
talking
talking
about
about, right, Javi?
you're talking about the three, like the things you get from the first three dungeons when you bring them to the Temple of Time. Is that what you're talking about?
No, like in Ocarina of Time, there was those like stones where you'd put on the Mask of Truth, and it would tell you like a secret about the world or like a plot detail. If you hit them, they would like go up in the sky and like rocket and then explode.
Oh shit! You're like, yeah, that's not something I'm super familiar with,
Gospel
but you are
stones.
ringing a
Yeah, I
bell.
think that's what they are.
Oh.
But regardless, there's one in the back that it's just like, oh yeah, his record's 43, and I could never get to 43.
Spiritual stones. Oh, you're talking about the little freaking gravestone, like those little. You hit them with your sword and they wobble all over the place.
Yeah,
Those things. Okay, you were saying stones, so I was picturing like something you hold in your hand. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but yeah, no, I do remember those.
yeah. I just never was able to get to that point, so I kind of got a little frustrated with that. But that was also a good way to make money. Like if you get between like 15 and 19, you can get like 3 times the amount you put in. So you could like you could save up a lot of money and buy all the beetle stuff early if you did that.
Yeah. Oh, the gossip stones. My bad. Not gospel.
Thank you for the correction.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, no, and so you got halfway through the game, Ben. Where did you stop after the desert dungeon?
I think so. I think that was the last one I did.
Okay. Yeah, because let's see, that there's 7 dungeons in the game. And let's see, there was Skyview Temple, Earth Temple, Lanaru Mining Facility. Then you've got the Ancient Cistern, which is like that lily pad poison dungeon. And then you've got the Sand Ship, Fire Sanctuary, and then finally you've got Sky Keep, which is like a oh god, you know those like puzzles where it's like a 3x3 like grid, but one square is missing, and
Oh,
you have to
the
like make an
slide puzzles.
image.
Yeah, slide puzzles. Yeah.
Slide puzzles, yeah, that's pretty much what
Slide
the final dungeon is. Like you're sliding around the rooms so you can gain access. Like, oh, I need to put this room here so I can gain access to it, and then like move around the other ones. That's
I'm so good at
and
those.
it's pardon.
I'm so good at slide puzzles. Wind Waker, when you get the title to that lady's property on that island, like there's her little house is just full of like a series of those slide puzzles. I love it.
Yeah, and I think it was also a thing like for me, speaking of Wind Waker, I played that before Skyward Sword, so I think that also kind of colored my perspective because when I was going around the sky overworld, it felt so like barren and like lifeless. Like I think, like in Wind Waker, you kind of had this like what was it like almost like 8x8 grid worth of like islands, and each island was kind of like unique, even if it was just like one of the islands where it's just like, oh, this one result looks like the one that once one-sided die, that sort of thing. And I
Mm.
never got that with Skyward Sword. All the islands uninspired.
Yeah, the Sky Islands. I mean, it was like when you first get the ability to fly, you're like, oh, this is really cool, and then you're like, oh, there's like nothing up here. There's Skyloft, there's the Pumpkin Inn place, and then like a handful of other ones, but there's really nothing else to do up there, really.
You just fly around and pick up treasure chests like
Mhm.
after you unlock them on the ground.
Yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, honestly, some of the combat could be a little frustrating too. There's a segment later in the game where you're trying to fight a parasite that's infected a sky whale, and kind of just
Been there.
using your bird to take out all the parasites so you can land on its back and actually fight the parasite. Was frustrating.
That's the game for me. That's like frustrating.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's one of these things where it's like they literally made a version of the game that doesn't have motion controls, but in order to play it, you have to sacrifice camera controls.
It's
I feel
absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
I mean, that's like
Mhm.
that's a decision that like it feels like, did you guys even play it? Like, how is this acceptable? It's crazy.
maybe they just had like a mandate from like Nintendo, and it's like, hey, people need to be able to play this in when they have it in portable mode, and it's like, oh shit.
Honestly, though, like you don't have the option to flip it to where like the right stick is always camera controls, and then you hold down the bumper to swing the sword. That might go a long way to fix like
Oh yeah, that would have been nice to have that option, or at
yeah.
the very least have like like oh loft wings. I don't want to deal with the motion control on that, but I'll deal with the motion control for the regular foot on foot combat. That would have been nice too.
Sure.
That would have worked so much better too, Javi, if because like 'cause you can lock on to enemies. So like if
Yeah.
you lock on and you just hold down both the bumper and the trigger, yeah, then I can swing my sword. And then
It's such a
otherwise,
obvious
the right
solution.
yeah, like the right
It's
stick would
crazy.
just be like, oh, I can actually maneuver like a normal 3D game.
Mm-hmm.
I remember also I was playing this game with my wife a lot, so it's just like every time I would have to like raise the sword above my head to like activate like one of the like goddess cubes or whatever. It would always and it would just be like having to recalibrate the controller when I was off. It would just be like, oh shit, okay, now it works. But it's just like it's like back in the day with the bunny ear antennas, like trying to get the right position.
You just want to like hit it.
But yeah, no, and then beyond that, I mean, visual kind of musical wise, I mean, it's a Zelda game. Like I adore the music from these games, so I feel like it was firing on all cylinders on that front. I think I still like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess's soundtrack more, but it's perfectly suitable. And yeah, I like the cell shaded graphics. I feel like it made the game age better than I think it would have otherwise. Like if they had tried going for like a Twilight Princess
I
art style.
disagree. I disagree.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
mean,
the one thing
not
I
that
was
it. I think it. Sure, you could argue that it aged like it looks how it did before, but I don't like it. I don't like how it looks. Actually, you know what? I will say that what they were going for, and I remember back in the day when this was new and they said as much, is that they were going for like that style of painting that is made of a bunch of like splotches, like dots of paint, and like as you get further away from it, the picture comes together. And a lot of that was like illustrated. I could probably pull up old screenshots, but like the environments, like the further away stuff is, the more it looked like paint, like smears of paint, and it was less defined. And I feel like in the HD version that we all played, I assume, and it's on a modern panel or a modern TV, you lose that whole art style. It doesn't come across that way at all. But like on a Wii, on a CRT, it's like so blurry that it totally looks the way they described.
huh.
Um, yeah. But I don't know. I don't love the art style. I think it's worse than
Yeah,
Twilight Princess.
it's serviceable. I still prefer like the cell shaded style that Wind Waker used, but at that point, I don't know if like I'm going completely nostalgia brain or not.
No,
I
I think Wind Waker's art style the is so rock solid that it stands the
yeah.
test of time. It looks as good as it is supposed to. Like there's some like slight improvements to like the shaders that you could do to make it like come across even better. But like overall, Wind Waker looks phenomenal today, and I think that I don't know. It's a matter of taste, but I think Skyward Sword just isn't as good. Like in the art direction.
Oh, fair enough. And one thing I did have an issue with is just Link's faces. They always look so awkward. Like sometimes I would find myself like bursting into like just laughter or just like a slight giggle because I'd be like in Link's face and I'd just be like, "Oh my god, you are so awkward."
Why does Link have lips? Like very clearly defined lips. It freaks me out, dude. It looks bad.
It does.
I hate it. Don't give him lips.
Or like when he's trying to make a smile, I would just be like, "No, no, no,
Yeah.
you're not a smiling a person. You
Yeah,
don't have to."
I
Yeah,
don't like it.
please stop that. You're making me uncomfortable. I I don't dislike the art style, but I do think like the colors are just very muted. like if you're comparing it to something like Wind Waker, where those colors are so bright and pop, like this is all just like it's very flat.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have like the life that Wind Waker had, and it doesn't have the
Yeah.
realism that I'm not saying Twilight Princess looks realistic, but like there's like that style is they're going for a different look, and this is it's just a little muted
Well,
for me.
it's the
Yeah.
problem that like compounds on itself because like the game itself is so stripped down. Like they just put all their chips into motion controls to where like the complexity of the game itself and the environments it just isn't there. It's
Yeah.
so simple. And so it just feels like in the same way it feels like it's like Zelda for like little babies in a way. And it's like I hate to say that because I do and I don't mean it in like terms of like just aesthetic because I do like a lot of games that look like children's media. Like that's not the problem. The problem is that like design wise the game is so stripped down, stripped back that it's like kind of uninteresting and unappealing in my opinion.
Like in what way? Like I guess
Well, like I'm looking
let's
at screenshot right now. I'm looking at screenshots for to illustrate the like painterly look that was lost when it like got ported to HD. And just like being reminded like of like this environment here. I'm gonna paste the screenshot. Uh, like doesn't this space like look at this space and look at what's here to interact with and think about what do you do here? And the answer is virtually nothing. Like this is there's nothing to it. It's just not very interesting. I don't know. I don't know if
okay.
that like is coming
The
across. But
worlds are a bit more barren. There's not
yeah,
as
yeah,
much to
yeah.
interact with.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that, as you said, Javi, it comes back to it's the whole design philosophy of we got to make this motion control because you can't have multiple enemy. You can't have multiple things here to interact
Yeah.
with because you can only have the one thing because that's how the motion control is going to work. Because if you have more, it's going to fuck up and
Uh-huh.
like it's going to be real
Mhm.
bad.
Yeah.
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 One thing you guys probably didn't get around to, but there's a lot of um, there's a part in the game where there's just a lot of water segments. Like the entirety of the forest gets flooded at one point,
Hmm.
and you kind of have to like collect these like tad stones. They are kind of like notes that look like frogs, or tadpoles that look like frog.
Okay.
Notes that look like tadpoles. Bleh, or tadpoles that look like notes. You get what I'm trying to
Yep.
say. I'm
Yep.
so sorry.
You're collecting something.
No, but you spend like 30 minutes like getting those, and then you go back. You go into like the water temple where you get like the whip and all that stuff. And that was probably well, there was some inspired points in that dungeon. There was also some really frustrating points. So like the water traversal wasn't the greatest as well. I don't know. Did Javi? Did you get to that point, or was
Say
that
all
when
that
you were
again. I
watching
was typing.
watching the streamer play? Wait, what?
Sorry, I was typing. I found a photo of what I was looking for. But anyways, you're saying did I get to what the water temple? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the like cistern, the area where the forest is like flooded, and you have to search for all the tadstones.
No, no, I didn't do that.
Okay, but you did watch the guide, your
Hmm.
streamer do it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Um.
wasn't a fun part of the game. But go ahead, Chris.
So I mean, I didn't make it. Like, I made it to the temple after Skyview. I don't. What's that? The Earth Temple, I think. I think that's where I'm at right now. The Earth Temple.
The one with
Uh,
the oh no, that's not the one with the digging. What did you unlock there?
Is that the lava
Bombs.
temple?
Yeah, yeah. They call it the Earth Temple, but yeah, it's
yeah,
basically the
it's
lava
fire.
temple.
Like it's yes. There's lots of fire.
Yeah, there's just
In
two
this
fire
place.
temples, so that's why I think they try to distinguish it, but they're basically two fire temples.
But so that's where I'm at. And in the first temple, though, there was like obviously places that like, oh, because you have to at one point you fill up, like you have to raise the water level so you can progress into like the final room in Skyview Temple. And it's like I should be able to swim down. And then I'm like looking up how to swim down. It's like you have to find this special skill to swim down. It's like what?
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
should just be able to. Why can't I get it? There's no water up. I mean, there is water though. There's water up on
There
in
is.
High Loft.
And
Like
there's a little cave that you can't reach.
yeah.
And
So
I'm
like
like, Link could
why doesn't he
dive
know
in
how to swim?
Ocarina.
Right? like,
Yeah.
like it was just so weird that like we're gonna lock something that should be standard in a 3D game, like behind something else that he needs to find.
Yeah, but I
At
mean,
least
like,
let us dive, but not deep enough to get to the thing. Just so that it's
Sure.
like, oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah. And are you talking about in like the first temple? Like, there's like a crawl space initially, and then you like flood it, and you're
Well,
trying to
yeah.
get
Oh,
into that crawl space.
so yeah, like I'm like, how the hell do I get? And I figured it out real quick, right? You turn to the side, and it's like, oh, there's moss there. You just climb up it, like there's vines. But yeah, it's like, well, I flooded this fucking room, and the way I got in was I crawled into it. Like, I should just be able to swim back out the way I came in. And it's like, no, we're gonna force you to do it this other way. I'm like, but why wouldn't you even give me the like you could be like, hey, you're gonna try and swim and you're gonna die because you don't have enough oxygen. You have to build that up over time. But yeah, they're just like, nope, this is the way. And also Link can only float for right now.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where I'm like trying to remember, like, Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess. They both had like, underwater like combat, but they utilized like the iron boots, and you don't have iron boots in this game. So, but I'm still I'm trying to think, are iron boots even fun?
They're
Probably
cool. I
not.
like them. I like them. I
Oh
like them
no,
as
and like
a.
the sound underwater, like aesthetically, it's like mwah, but like in practice, it can be a bit frustrating. I mean, like I had a friend recently who was playing through Ocarina of Time for the first time, and he struggled with the water temple a little.
Well, sure. I mean, the water temple is like famous for being
Everybody
frustrating or
kind
whatever.
of
But
hates it.
I think, like, in terms of like the iron boots as a concept are really neat. It's a way to like almost, you know, transcend to like a world that you're not allowed to be in otherwise. And then also they really got creative with God, it's so good. In Twilight Princess with the magnets, like being able to walk on the walls and the ceiling and stuff, like so cool.
Oh yeah, that like when that game was coming out, I was fan boying about it.
Yeah. Iron
But
boots are a good thumbs up.
thumbs up. Okay.
Yeah.
Glad to know it wasn't just me. But yeah, I think in essence that's Skyward Sword. I mean, I I enjoyed my time with the game. I had to fight through it, which you shouldn't have to feel like you do that with a Zelda game. Zelda games are supposed to be, you know, typically on the more relaxing side. They can be a bit stressful, but it was like a game where like I was going up against the final boss and I was like, shit, do I have enough fairies to do this?
I think despite me once again failing to get through this game, I still want to believe in my heart of hearts that someday I will finish Skyward Sword. It's just not today.
Somebody apparently just has to mod it into a first-person
Oh
VR game
man,
for you.
yeah. Now we're talking. I should
If
actually
somebody
look
could
up if
just
that
mod,
already exists. That might
if you could
exist.
just mod Javi's idea about the camera control, like
Sure.
Yeah,
that would work for me.
that's not a
Yeah.
bad idea.
You know what? I could pull that off with macros because you can basically tell your controller to just always hold down the bumper, and then when you press the bumper, it stops. Oh, I could do that.
That would be
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, I get what you're saying about the painting like quality. I'm trying to remember what the name of that is because like it's like if you go to like the Louvre, there's a number of paintings that are like that. There's that one famous one where it's like
Yeah.
a lakeside with like the
It,
people having like a picnic and like
yeah, it's
people
like an
holding like
afternoon at the
sun
lake or
umbrellas.
something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
yeah,
I think the game in HD, like it doesn't really like become that, and it doesn't even when it does, it doesn't look as convincing as it did on the Wii when everything was really blurry. Like it looks better in SD. But
I'm just glad I didn't have to fish out the what is it, the Wii Motion Plus component. I think I have
sure,
that somewhere, but it's buried. So
but
at
it's
the very
still
least,
good.
I'm glad that I had the Switch version, so I didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like maybe it played better on the Wii.
It might have. I think. Well, I don't know if the Wii Motion Plus like brought the Wiimote up to the standards of a Switch Joy-Con, or if the Switch Joy-Con is more so like I wonder if it's a different translation layer of the motion controls. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I might need to like get out an old SD TV and experience it the way Hobby was talking about. No,
Yeah.
but yeah, no. That's Skyward Sword. I mean, Ben, I know you didn't get all the way through it, but what were your final thoughts?
Um, yeah, I mean, this is nowhere close to my favorite Zelda game. Um, I don't know. I do think the art style is interesting and inspired in some cases. I understand what you're saying about how it doesn't look as good um in HD. But yeah, I think they're focused on motion controls for everything you do in the game kind of put a hindrance on essentially everything else that you enjoy about a Zelda game. Like I don't really play Zelda games for the combat. I don't really care that much about combat in a Zelda game. I want
The
exploration. I
adventure.
want to do dungeons. I want to explore, see stuff. And this game, because it is so focused on combat and on motion controls, it kind of everything else is on a back burner, and that's kind of what I don't like about this game. Um, so yeah, I guess that's my final thoughts essentially.
And just out of curiosity, what's your favorite Zelda game? Are you a 2D Zelda person or 3D?
Um, I mean 3D. My favorite 3D Zelda is I usually like Majora's Mask is my favorite one. My favorite
Yeah,
2D is Minish Cap. I love Minish Cap. That's probably my favorite Zelda game.
nice. Yeah, I've never. For me, I've never been the like 2D Zeldas can be hit or miss, but I think a Link Between Worlds that just hit like a sweet
Mm,
spot for me. All right, a Link Between Worlds. That was the 3DS game, right?
yeah, that's 3DS one.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite. But I actually like the most recent Zelda one where you actually play as Zelda. That one was fun too, even if it wasn't a traditional Zelda game. But
Which
what
one?
about you? Uh,
Yeah, the
God,
last
what? Oh,
one.
Echoes of Wisdom. That's
yep,
what it's
Echoes of
called.
Wisdom. There we go. I was like,
Oh,
I wanted to say Wand of Gamelon, but that's the
no.
CDI game.
Yeah, yeah.
What? Just might as oh, your favorite. You're more of a Chris. You're more of a 2D Zelda person, but your favorite 3D Zelda is still Wind Waker, right?
Yeah, like I am
Correct.
notoriously not a 3D Zelda fan, but Wind Waker's my favorite. Yeah.
Okay. And what about you, Javi?
Oh, Wind Waker's the goat. It's the best one. Like,
Okay.
it's not even close.
Yeah, it's hard to beat.
Um,
It's hard to beat Wind Waker, but Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, even Twilight Princess. Like
what?
I feel like that's like golden age of like 3D Zelda. And I mean, like you always, I mean, like on the Perfectly Sane show, you always hear this from Jeff. But a lot of people like to want to go back to that like era of Zelda.
Yes.
And I feel like there's got to be a good way to mix some of the stuff that, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom did with kind of classic kind of dungeon elements. I wonder if they'll be able to do that with the next iteration of the series, but
I think what they would have to do, because a lot of what makes dungeons work is the item that you get in the dungeon, like the whole thing is designed around it, right? That's what was the conflict is with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is that you have every item already from the very beginning. You have all the abilities that you have are already unlocked from scratch because you can go anywhere in any order. and so they've created this situation where like the traditional Zelda dungeon is kind of impossible. But I think that to take a page out of Link Between Worlds, like in that you rent the item that you're going to bring to the dungeon that needs it. Like that's how you get into it even. I don't like the rental system. I think it kind of like it just from a narrative standpoint, I think it takes me out of it in a way. So I think maybe a better solution is like you go to a dungeon, you can go into any dungeon at any time. Like there's no barrier to entry, but once you get in there, maybe you have a temporary item that only works there or something. I don't know, but like I think there needs to be some I don't know. I don't know, but I think like basically like building the dungeons once again around a mechanic that you get there is perhaps the
So
way to go.
I'm, as I mentioned, I'm playing the Adventures of Elliot, and um, I mean it's a 2D Zelda style game, but they have like kind of that open area, but you get to a dungeon and you can go through a part of it, but if you don't have like the item yet, you can't finish it. So it's
Yeah.
like you have to come back here later, and that has like a time travel mechanic, so you may have to go back in time to progress. But like you could do something like that where it's like, yeah, you can go here, but we prefer if you go over here first and get progress to get the items you need.
Yeah.
Isn't that
I
why
mean,
everybody
ultimately, like as
liked
we're having
even? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Avi.
oh yeah, I was just saying that like as we're having this conversation, I am like reminding myself that I kind of don't love the openness like entirely about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I know a lot of people do, and I get that. But like I do think that like there's a benefit to like, oh, you're supposed to go over here first. You know, you're supposed to go here so you don't
Yeah,
waste your time, so that there's some like sense of like you're progressing and not
Kind
just
Yeah,
of
they
aimless.
linearity, like in a good way.
yeah, they
Yeah,
could
and
have
I
like a more limited open world, like I guess
sure.
open zones if of like this place is big open, but you can't get to the next zone until you unlock this area or whatever. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
there's ways of doing that,
If
I
you
guess.
think about it, the ocean in Wind Waker is kind of the perfect middle ground because you can technically go, well, at a certain point, you can go anywhere with your boat, but like it's
Yeah, you
telling
have to
you where it
progress through
wants
the
you to
first
go.
two dungeons before you kind of King of Red Lions. It's just like,
We
okay, I'll
stop
let you do
stopping
what you
you.
want.
Yeah. But like at all times, Wind Waker will go, oh, we should go here next, right? So like you have a main line that you can choose to ignore if you want. So it's still open and free in the way that Breath of the Wild is, but at the same time there's a structure and there's a sense of purpose. I think that's the problem with Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. It's like I don't feel like there's any sense of urgency. Like I get it, the Zelda's waiting for me at the castle. We got to defeat Ganon, this, that, and the other. But like, really, I
She's
just
being treated
go
well.
anywhere,
She's just inside of
figure
a
it out.
crystal.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. It makes it like hard to care. You
Fair.
run out of steam pretty easily.
And yeah, no, and I guess quickly before we move on, in addition to the Adventures of Elliot, that looked like a cool game, so I bought it to kind of support Square Enix because I kind of like those like 2D HD kind of projects they're doing.
hmm
But did you play Mina the Hollower?
yes.
That
Also,
was another kind of
kind of a
Zelda-like.
Zelda-y. Yeah, yeah. I
I
would
get
say
more
it's
inspired by Link's Awakening than anything else, but
yes and no though. Like it is kind of designed that way, but I would say it's almost like a top-down Castlevania more so.
Mm.
mm, okay.
Um, but yeah, there's Zelda DNA in there for sure.
Yeah, I just kind of curious how you equated the two because yeah, Mina the Hollower, I felt like it hit that um, kind of gave me that sense of exploration that I got from like Link Between Worlds. It felt like a good 2D Zelda game, but you're right, it does have Castlevania DNA in it.
Yeah, I mean, it has that exploration, like, but it's kind of directed, right? Like where it's like, all right, you're gonna want to go to this area next, and like you might have to solve a puzzle or something. But
Yeah, but you're able to do the dungeons in like whatever order. Like if you
Yep.
want to kind of go to this what is it, the bone desert, the bone mines first, you can do that, even though you probably should save that for later since it's a higher it's a area that requires like higher skill. But no, thank you for indulging that. But yeah, let's get back on topic. Javi, what were your final thoughts?
I mean, unfortunately, like in my heart of hearts, I wanted like this to be the time I play Skyward Sword. I get super into it. I beat it, and it's like one of my favorite Zeldas, and it just didn't happen again. Where it's like, I see the positives here. I think that the dungeon designs are good. Um, I think the finale where everybody's. I think the relationship, I'll give it its flowers. Where like the relationship with Link and Zelda is the best it's ever been. Like especially like looking at Twilight Princess, these two don't know each other at all. Like there is no relationship in Twilight Princess. And so it's cool to finally have them be childhood friends, and she's always been rooting for him. It's like a tragedy that she is locked away for like however many years, hundreds of years, and like he has to free her. Like and also I love the line, like the game starts with her waking him up and calling him a sleepyhead, and then when she locks herself away, she's like, now it's your turn to wake me up, right? It's like, shit, that's good stuff. So like there's a lot, not a lot, there's stuff to like here and appreciate.
Oh yeah,
but ultimately Skyward Sword is just it doesn't come together, man. And
it
it's
gave
not
us Groose, and I think we
yeah,
can all be
Groose.
thankful for that.
He's carrying this game across the finish line on his back. He's like one of the most memorable and appealing parts of the game, I would say. But yeah, I don't know. This game is terribly uneven. It's a little misguided. It's kind of like baffling how the Zelda team let this happen. And I feel like they've been trying to make good on it since with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, where they really were like, we need to change. We need to change, and we need to never go back. So, and which I have my issues with those games, as we've touched on. I think that Zelda is a little bit lost in that way. I think a lot of people disagree with that. I think that's maybe not a popular take, but I miss classic Zelda. And that's why I'm kind of stoked about the Ocarina of Time remake. Not because I think they're going to reinvent the wheel or do anything all that interesting, but I
Back
think
to basics, so to speak.
it's going back to basics, and I think they might. I don't know if the game like pops off and like does really well, which I imagine it will. They might like go, maybe we had something here. Maybe we should kind of, bring a little bit of this back. We'll see.
So keeping your fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Be great.
And then
Yeah.
Chris, it seems like you agreed with both Ben and Hobby on a lot of points, but was there anything else you wanted to kind of add closing thought wise?
I mean, we'll see what happens with Ocarina, but 3D Zelda has rarely hit for me, and I was hoping, like Javi, that like, yeah, maybe going back to it a decade plus, what, 15 years you said, Dax, since it
Oh,
originally came out.
God.
Like maybe this will, and it did not, and it was like, oh, this is still frustrating. So, we'll see. It's always the next 3D Zelda game for me to latch onto. So
You can, have Jeff try to convince you that 3D Zelda is good finally.
funny enough, before we started, I did tell Javi that like Jeff does not like Skyward Sword, and he wrote the review for us back when we were at Vagary, and I think he gave it a 3 out of 5. Said it
That's
was
about
That's
right.
a good score. I think that's a good
mediocre.
score.
That's on point.
Yeah, so he did not like it at the time, and I don't think he still likes it. So
I have a question. Actually, I'm gonna pick at this a little bit, Chris.
Yeah.
For me, 2D Zeldas are a little bit unappealing, and I know the reason why. For me, is that like I feel like there's such a limit to like my favorite 2D Zelda is probably Minish Cap or Link Between Worlds. Those two, and I think
Oh.
the reason why, when I think about it, is that those worlds feel more realized in a way that other 2D Zeldas. I mean, because there's only so much you can do from a top-down perspective, and like
Sure.
Minish Cap,
Yeah.
man, like shrinking down, jumping into the tree
Mhm.
stump, and like the lengths that they went to like really make it feel like you're tiny. There's giant leaves in the foreground and all this stuff. And like
Yeah.
I like the world building and like how it's all represented. For
Mhm.
me, 3D Zelda is way more appealing because I can like look up, I can look around, I can take in a real environment that I'm in, and I feel like that goes such a long way for a game like Zelda. Uh, so like I don't know. I guess I'm curious, like that the 3D element of like being in a place in that way doesn't do enough for you to like make
No.
it more appealing. Okay.
And yeah, it's like, and I love 3D games. It's not like I only play 2D games and and hate 3D games. Like
Sure.
I play mostly 3D games for the most part. But yet something about the structure of a Zelda game I prefer just in 2D, and I think it's comes down to how the gameplay works,
Mm,
and it's it works more in my brain, I guess. Like it just connects better than it does in a 3D environment, and
gotcha.
also I'm not sure that the 3D. I, I don't think there's enough in the world of Zelda that I care about. So it's like it's more like I
Mm,
come to it for the gameplay, and
okay.
I enjoy that 2D gameplay a little bit more.
Gotcha. The retro
Yeah,
vibe. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Cool. All right. I have my list of games. If now's the time to start sharing
yeah.
and
Yeah,
voting.
no, I think that's good. And go ahead and yeah, if you want to post it in the chat, maybe we'll get Marcus to be able to vote in on
He's
things.
he's looking.
He's looking.
Look
Okay,
on the lookout.
Ooh, okay.
let's see.
So you want to call these out, Dax, as have a
Yeah, no,
post?
no, I'm going to the VG Club
Or
chat.
I can do a little spiel for each one. I'm about to be done here just right now.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
All right.
yeah, I go ahead,
So
Javi.
yeah. So the games I have on offer, I'm mostly going horror. There's a couple outliers, but like, okay, first up we got Slitterhead. This is a indie game from one of the creators of Silent Hill. Um, Mixed reviews. There's a lot of games in here that are not like absolute bangers, but I find them interesting. Slitterhead is kind of a weirdo like horror game. I think that's in quotes. It's not that scary, but it's gory and gross. It's about like a possession entity that fights other possessed people that get grotesque and bloody. So there's that. And then Crystal Theater of Idols. I believe this was a Spanish made indie game. It's first person. It's got kind of gothic horror vibes to it. Looks like a BioShock, but like more gothic. Uh, then Pragmata, I think probably doesn't need an intro. This is a Capcom game that really popped off a month or two ago. This is the boring vanilla game. So if you vote for this, I'm judging you, but I also like want to play it. So Routine is a horror game that was announced like over a decade ago, long time ago. This is one of those like Kickstarter projects that was like, oh, that's dead, that's never coming out, and then a decade goes by and they're like, oh yeah, Routine, remember that game? It's done, and here it is. We've been working on it this whole time, and it's really good. I haven't played it, but the the reviews are super high, and no one played it. They just like the hype died, and then the game quietly came out with no fanfare, and it's just dead on arrival, which is tragic because it's supposed to be pretty freaking good. So I think we should check it out. And then we got Samson is an open world game that like seemed kind of interesting, had really nice graphics. It looked almost GTA-esque, and then it comes out and gets terrible reviews. Everybody's, oh, Samson's trash, this and that. I started this game out of just curiosity because something about it was, you know what it was? I was reminded of Vin Diesel's Wheelman, which also got critically panned. And I'm like, Vin Diesel's Wheelman hits, dude. That game is so much fun, even though it's not great. I love it. And so I was like, I'm gonna check out Samson. And this will only mean something to Chris. But if you were to ask for a video game version of Deadbeat at Dawn,
Oh,
it's Samson, dude. Samson. This is like an old grimy, like grindhouse film, the streets of a trashy city. Oh, it's just a trashy game, and I'm curious about it, or I want to play more of it. But anyways, and then Reanimal, the folks that made Little Nightmares. There was like some sort of shakeup where they also made a Little Big Planet on the Vita, which is a phenomenal game. Parseer Studios, I think they're called. But they had a falling out with the publisher that owns Little Nightmares, and in the wake of that falling out, they started making their own game that's in the spirit. It's like a spiritual successor of Little Nightmares, and then that publisher is like, we'll continue making the franchise without you. And so is this kind of a Dead Space and what's that freaking game? The Callisto Protocol. Like, those games came out at the same time. So it's another situation like that, but I believe Reanimal is way better than Little Nightmares 3. So
is it like 2D, kind of like
no,
a
it's
Little
3D,
Nightmare?
but it's like fixed cameras. So you're just kind of like you're a little guy running around a horror world. I guess this is gonna sound 2D, but think of like Inside or Limbo, but you can go forward and backwards in the environment. But it's very much
Okay.
like you're heading right most of the time.
I might
You know?
be able to convince my brother to play this game with me since it's a co-op one.
Cool. Anyways, that's all the games.
Marcus
Reanimal
has
Samson.
voted.
Nice.
All right, cool. So right now it looks like we've got a tie between Crystal
We need, yeah, and
Reanimal.
Reanimal.
Do we vote
Oh,
once? I forget how we vote.
Crystal is now in front of Reanimal.
Don't want Crystal to win.
You vote twice, Javi. Pick
Vote
two games.
twice. Okay.
Okay, I'll remove my pepper for Slitterhead.
Poor Routine. Routine's just never getting played by anybody.
So I've already played Pragmata, so
Okay.
I didn't vote for that. Also, you're going to judge me if I did. And while like I heard about Slitterhead, that's neat. I looked at the images for Cursal and I'm like, yeah, this looks awesome. So, Routine also looks awesome. That was on my choice here, but Samson does look so goofy that
Yeah. Samson, dude.
Okay, I'm gonna.
You gotta get Jeff to check out Samson. I think he'll hate it, but like you
He
gotta
probably
appreciate the aesthetic.
Okay, I voted twice for Reanimal, so now we have another tie between that and Crystal.
Mm.
I don't know how we break that, Dax.
Interesting. I think.
Okay, can you give me more information about Crystal, because I don't want to watch a trailer of it right now while we're doing a podcast, because that makes for excellent audio content. Is it like a first-person shooter, third person?
Bloomhouse Games is
or not
cool.
shooter?
It is first person.
Okay.
It's first person. It's like I said, I think you have like blood abilities. Like think BioShock, you do shoot with guns, but then you also absorb blood, and it's kind of a gothic horror deal.
Okay, let's see. Well, it has the
survival
added
horror
benefit
adventure
of only being $18.
Yes, yes.
And then let's see.
Twisted version of Spain.
Okay, it looks like there are guns in this game. All right.
Your blood is ammunition.
it's
naturally.
It's kind of a shooter.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know like what era of Spain this was in. Like if this was kind of like more conquistador kind of Spain, where like there might be guns, but there's also an emphasis on
I mean,
swordplay.
it's
No, there's like
yeah.
cars. There's like a truck
Yeah.
in one of the screenshots.
Okay, cool.
I mean, growing up Catholic, this is just like a regular
Yeah.
Saturday or Sunday.
Slightly more bloody, but
yeah.
Okay, I can give this game a shot. I can give this game a shot. I can move my vote to something else, and that would make it so Crystal wins.
okay.
Up to you.
Yeah.
Still, yeah.
No, yeah, I'm so
wait.
I don't know how I'll like this game, but hey, that's the point of VG Club, kind of sometimes getting outside of our comfort zone. I really liked Crow County, so.
Oh yeah, Crow County was great.
So yeah, it looks like we will be playing Crystal Theater of Idiots
Idiots.
as our
Idols.
Oh, sorry, Idols.
Can you imagine? What a name.
Sorry.
Wow, Dax
That
just
might be a better name though.
subconsciously throwing shade at it.
A Freudian slip. My bad.
It's like, all right, well, I guess we're just a theater of idiots playing Crystal next month.
No, but I will give Crystal its fair shake, and we will be playing Crystal Theater of Idols for our game next time. Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you so much, Javi. Thank you so much, Chris, for joining me today. And thank you all for listening. And yeah, please say bye, Javi.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening.
Oh, we forgot to mention what Marcus's opinion on the game was. Oh well.
He didn't like it.
Yeah. You can cut that in.
I'll add that in.